Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Tuesday. It is June 11th. It's 2024. Hope you're having a good day. In case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you, your job, your industry, the markets, the economy, the Morlocks in D.C., and everything else that we think matters. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. We'll also post it on a bunch of podcast apps. You can check it out there. And you can email me. Just be nice. Shouldn't be hard. Just be nice. We have a lot to cover today. Narrower and narrower and narrower, but plays into our hands. As we have told you throughout the years, when the markets get very narrow, they sell a lot of things and they go into the few, and that few gets accentuated to the upside. And if you're in that few, you're doing pretty darn well until the few croaks. So you have to be on your guard. We'll get to that in a minute. But what were you most interested in me commenting on today? You know what it was, right? You know me. I got correspondence after correspondence. What do I think of Hunter Biden? By the way, what does that have to do with you and our money? Well, his father runs the country. In case you don't know, they got Hunter Biden on some stuff that for me and you doesn't really matter. What should matter is he's a corrupt, influence peddling grifter. The whole family are a bunch of corrupt, influence peddling grifters, including the big guy. And the reason you know it is because the media has completely blacked it out. The fact that the family got millions and millions of dollars from other countries to do absolutely nothing, that it just so happened Dad, well, you get the point. And just so you know, to be fair, they're not the first family to be a bunch of corrupt, influence peddling drifters. And it's not just for one party, it's for the other. You can go get the book Throw Them All Out by Peter Schweizer that came out many years ago about both parties grifting and grifting and grifting. Of course, we also know about the insider trading, the illegal insider trading that is going on in Washington, D.C. Oh, wait a minute. It would only be illegal insider trading if we did it, but it's not illegal insider trading if they do it. That's all. Just another. But they got him on things that really don't matter to us. Some gun charge, he didn't file this, he didn't say that. I couldn't give a crap about that. What I care about is his father and the whole family are a bunch corrupt, influence peddling grifters, and he's using our treasury to win the election again. Massive amounts of debt, massive amounts of deficits, and the media blacks it out because the media sucks. And that's it. That's my take. You may debate. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, we always talk about broad market rallies and narrow market rallies. We always try to tell you what's working, what's not working, what is strength, what is leadership, what is not, what is emerging, what is submerging. That's our goal at pretty much all times. And of course, if things change. Did anything change? Anything showing up? Well, all I can tell you today is another day where like a little hourglass glass, it narrows. Well, you had more of that today. I'm going to give you out the final numbers. I'm going to give you out the strength. I'm going to give you out the weakness. Tomorrow's the Fed, so God only knows what they're going to do or what they're going to say and what they're going to move. I don't know. Remember, the markets will move based on these buzzards saying this, that, or the other thing. It's amazing that some people on Wall Street will say, well, they changed the word if to is and has to is. And I'm like, shut up. So right into the markets. I'm going to make a statement just reporting the news. Today, Apple broke out of 11-month trading range on 150% volume. Average daily volume is 58 million. At the close today, I got Apple trading 167 million shares. So there is a huge 11-month breakout in the second most important technology stock behind NVIDIA. We're just letting you know, we're not going to tell you what to do. You get to decide. Amazingly, just weeks ago, Apple was at the same price it was December of 21. But the earnings report came out. It was not good, but they announced a gargantuan buyback. A couple of weeks ago, it was announced that China business was better. Yesterday, they did some confab on artificial intelligence, and the market was completely unimpressed. An analyst came out today and said something about, wait a minute, hold on, this is really good, and there's going to be a big upgrade cycle, and this, that, and the other thing. And under the motto, it ain't the news, it's how it reacts to the news, we're just letting you know, big, gigantic 11-month breakout in Apple today on volume. And by the way, a stock like Apple doesn't usually ever do volume. By the way, excuse me, it just updated 193% volume versus the norm. So just letting you know. And of course, because of that, Apple, well, the NASDAQ was up 151. The NASDAQ 100 up 135, while the Dow was down 120. Oh, by the way, the Dow was down 400 at one time. On top of that, let me just give out a few more. Facebook broke back above the big 500 mark and maybe headed back to the old highs. That's a mega cap. Microsoft, just about a point away from the old highs and rolling. I could just do those three. Google was up $2 today. Looks poised to move above 179. Would break that bad boy out. Netflix, that's getting close to the big move out. Broadcom reports after the close tomorrow. That was up $20 today. That actually broke out into new high ground today, but you can't even think about it because the earnings are tomorrow. Oh, that's how you get the NASDAQ on the move. Here's the amazing part. With the NASDAQ up 115-1, advanced declines on the NASDAQ, 1881 up, 2184 down. How can that be? It's the big caps. Again, the big caps. Just letting you know. And again, the Fed will be tomorrow. I do want to mention Oracle is up about $5.50 in the aftermarket on their earnings report, and that will be what will be at the highs. That'll be closer to the yearly highs on Oracle, and that's not the most mega of mega caps, but that's up there. So we started with the good. GameStop today was up excuse me, let me make sure. $4.60 today. GameStop. Just letting you know. I take it back. It was up $5.60, but it's down $1.50 in the aftermarket. And I got one or two emails on that, and I keep answering, and one person got pissed. I answered, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I don't know. And the fact that for the life of me, why this stock would even go up when you have a guy that was the controlling factor looking like a doofus, don't know. We'll let you decide on the GameStop. That's all. had an update today. Insanity rules. That's the best way I can explain it to you. I don't know what to tell you. As I say to you, I don't know where it's going. I don't know what it's going to do tomorrow. I just know, don't be the last one in. When the music dies, when the music stops, the last time was down 90%. The AMC went down 99%. That all said, the Dow was down 400 today, finished only down 120 because, well, Apple's $14. That'll be about 80 points. Microsoft, almost 5 points. Let's call that 30 some odd points. And a bunch of names came back towards the end of the day, but still down 120. I'm going to add a couple of things on the negative side today. Hope you're listening. That's up next on this, the one only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
Okay. So we mentioned Apple, we mentioned Facebook, Microsoft. NVIDIA was down a little bit today, no big deal. Mentioned Google, needs to break out. Netflix needs to break out. The semiconductors were okay today. They were down early let's see, the semiconductor index today was down to 5287. That's 13.6570. It was down 76. No, it was down 80 and finished up 2. That's good news. Like seeing that little shakeout. You got the Fed tomorrow. No idea what they're going to do. We have a thought process because they're good at telegraphing it at least. They'll probably stay at 5.25, 5.5, and he'll be yapping away and say this, that, and the other thing or whatever. And you can move markets up or down. And actually, you can move markets to the point where it really changes the stripes of some things. That's how much power these doofuses still have, which is a shame, but welcome to our world. First off, we've been really telling you, very much telling you, avoid the transports. That has not changed, and it had another rough day today. Off the lows, I think, at one point today, 14,947. It was down 200, still finished down 140. And that has not changed. And of course, transports are important because what do? Well, they transports everything from people to bananas. And of course, we've been telling you, we've been worried about economically sensitive, that the building / construction versus / materials / industrials, a lot of them just really in trouble. And we've highlighted some names that we feel are of import, things like Caterpillar, United Rentals, and they're all acting still. We've highlighted for you the steel, the copper, the aluminum, the uranium that they were working very well until about 4 weeks ago. They put in a top. We said at that point, all right, they're just pulling back. Well, it's been more than a pullback. There are a lot of big breakdowns, especially in steel stocks, and we don't know the reason why. Is it tariffs? Is it this, that? We don't care. We don't rationalize. So then you got your commodities. We've also told you about the housing and housing-related stocks, that the housing stocks had topped for now. Doesn't mean they're going into a big bear market, but they had topped, and they broke below the 50-day moving average, and on a relative basis, they're very weak. There's the housing and the housing-related. We have never come off the avoid of the regional banks, except there was a couple of days we said, better. And the regional banks worsened in the last week. And then there's the other financials. The only thing we have said, well, there's some bad ones. Blackstone, BlackRock act poorly. Some of the investment managers. But what we have stated to you was the big banks have been fine. Nothing spectacular. They don't move like other things, but fine. But then we noticed that Citigroup broke below the 50-day. Well, when you have a chance, and again, we have the Fed tomorrow, and who knows? In real time at the close today on a technical basis, that is a near-term breakdown in Citigroup. That's one. Just one. You got that? Wells Fargo broke the 50-day days ago and fell even further. Big bank. Morgan Stanley, sitting on the 50-day, but has been under pressure. JP Morgan broke below the 50-day today at the close. Just letting you know. The strongest name, Goldman Sachs, may be rolling over in here, maybe. And then you have American Express. Is that a bank? I don't know. That cracked the 50-day today badly today. It's been a stalwart in the Dow, and they cracked it pretty good. And then as I do the rundown, what is a rundown? Well, I start going through all these financial stocks. We are just noticing a bunch of European banks that have been doing pretty decently, all topping out, breaking support levels. Just European banks. And then we have noticed investment bankers and investment managers getting yanked. I don't know, maybe it's nothing, or maybe it's something. And why do we bring up these financials? Because I think they're one of the cogs in the wheel. We think semis are one, financials are two. That said, you got the Fed tomorrow. And this is not a hedge. It's a fact. Something the Fed can say tomorrow can turn the tide in financial stocks before you even say boo. But at the close today, there's some pretty good technical tops going on in big financials and others, while the money flew into the mega cap tech today and into the close. That's all I know. Tomorrow will be another day. But that's the story today, led by a big laggard mega cap in Apple. And as I said, I'm just describing, feel like I'm Investors Business Daily. Apple broke out of an 11-month trading range today on volume 191% better than norm, breaking above 199.62, broke above the big 200 level on upgrade and an artificial intelligence announcement, and we'll see where it decides to go. And there you have it. And on a day where the NASDAQ was up 151 and the NASDAQ 100 up 135. Advanced declines on the NASDAQ were down because the broad market not keeping up its big land at this juncture. The Russell 2000 was down again today, even though it was worse in the morning. That is the small caps. What else am I seeing? China continues to just drift lower, and I have to tell you, that one of the two most important Chinese names, Baidu, is at a new yearly low today. The second most, well, I think Alibaba is probably one, Baidu two. Alibaba, straight up, straight down. And that's not going to look good on a resume. Gold was up today. The gold stocks acted like crap. The rest of the Chinese stocks acted poorly. Japanese stocks in trouble. I mentioned also, got a few other areas. And then some news of the day and whatever else today. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
So, just letting you know, Oracle closed at 123.88. I got it at 133.61. That's a big move for an Oracle. They missed by 2 cents. I don't know why they have it up $10, but if they open it up here tomorrow, that'll be a clean gap breakout for Oracle. Is that a new all-time high? And that would be a new all-time high if it opens here tomorrow. By the way, off of kind of sort of a range going back to last June. Kind of sort of. With one foray into higher prices, but they'll take that out. So there's another bigger cap that may be in play tomorrow. Even though, and I'm not making this up, they missed estimates by 2 cents. And let me make sure I get this right. Earnings were down year over year. And revenue rose a measly 3.3% year over year. I'm looking for anything, well, they're talking AI. As we agree to work together, support OpenAI and ChatGPT and 11 blah, blah, blah. Okay. It may be the AI thing. ORCL is the symbol. We'll see what it comes in with tomorrow. That will add a little fuel to the big cap tech fire. I got an email from somebody I respect, and they said to me, don't you think in the next year or two we're going to have a big blow up in technology based on the fact that the technology market now has outdistanced the levels they had as far as percentage of the market in 1999? What does Gary think? I wouldn't be against that. But it does not matter. We don't even have to think about it. Because if it ever does occur, the market will let us know. And I do believe, based on what I have seen, that if it does occur, it'll probably occur in a climactic move to the upside, which I can't wait for. We'd love that. But there's nothing to think about right now. There's nothing to sweat right now. And as we go into tomorrow and the Fed, we'll see what the market decides to give us. That's all. Yeah, we think that there'll be a comeuppance one day. You know how we know? Because it always happens. Whenever anything gets to an extreme in the markets, eventually it gets back to the meeting. But you just have to wait. And I can promise you it ain't here when an Apple breaks out of 11-month base. And now Oracle looks to be gapping out of a 1-year range. And of course, then you have some other names too. And as always, if anything changes, we'll let you know. We live in interesting times. And as I tell our peeps, just stay out of the bad stuff. We always say, imagine if you can just stay out of all the bear markets. That's what we do. We won't own anything in a big downtrend. We won't own anything in a big bear market. Doesn't mean we don't lose money, but we look for launching pads that don't work all the time, and we stop out quick, and if we're right, we let them run. That's all. And now we await the every 6 weeks Fed, and I haven't watched one of his press conferences in ages. Every now and then I'll get somebody sending me a snippet and I'll just laugh. Because in case you don't know, they act like they're in control and they're not. We're in control. They only do damage. So again, them big financials and other financials look to possibly be in trouble here. We worsen today. We already know about the transports and the housing related and the commodities, the airlines for the most part, and the oils. What we've been telling you about oils, except for a few. China looks to be worsening. When we say commodities, uranium was acting well. That thing's breaking down big time. A lot of economically sensitive areas, trouble, and we just want to stay away from these areas and accentuate the good stuff. And how do you do it? You focus and you scan, and you scan and you focus. And you focus and you scan, and you scan and you focus. That's all. And today was a banner day for some big names. And if that changes tomorrow, we'll let you know. Nothing is ever baked in the cake. We never get full of ourselves. We're always looking over our shoulders, and we're always paranoid about everything we do, which sometimes hurts, but very often helps. That's us, and that's the markets. But again, I have to repeat the big story today. Man, oh man, some of the big stuff got good today, and now it looks like a crappy earnings report on Oracle. Going to have that got good tomorrow. Yay! On a miss of earnings. And that be that. And any questions or any comments, you can email me at GaryK.com. Crypto. They finished better today, but I just want to let you know that the crypto, let's talk the Bitcoin, has been really teasing trying to break above range and was rolling over today pretty darn good. Finished better, but still down decently. Another bad day in crypto will top them out for now. Another bad day I will come out and say topped out for now. Just letting you know. Right here, can't say it. For all you crypto people. And we still don't understand it. Sorry, just don't understand it. That's our take. Don't know the why, the reasons. And whenever I ask somebody who's neck deep in it, well, it's, alternative, blah, blah. Well, why couldn't it be a tree branch? Well, because nobody ever gives me a good answer. No one. So I hope it keeps working for them. I hate seeing people lose a lot of money. We want only people making money and protecting their capital at all costs when protecting capital is a necessity. And unfortunately, in these days, people and their lemmings, I just don't get sometimes. And even today, GameStop up nicely today. It's not stopping people from speculating, even though, well, if you had a chance to watch that YouTube video, you will know what I mean when I say doofus. And we take no joy in calling somebody a doofus, but we think this guy is not a Robin Hood. We think he is a front runner and using you to make his ends. In a company that should be trading at $10 when the music stops. But who knows? Maybe it goes up to 1,000 first. In a market in a world that we're in of fast and easy, you just don't know. And that's why we tell you we don't know. Except history states, don't be the last one in. The market has never, ever been friendly to those that were the last one in when the music stops. And I can promise you again, it is going to stop. Because it always does. But Gary, this started up again. Yeah, a couple years later after dropping 90%. That's all. Up next, I think we got some news of the day that matters. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
Well, here's what they're saying about Oracle. Oracle's trading higher after hours despite a rare earnings per share miss and a revenue miss. They are saying Oracle, Microsoft, and OpenAI, artificial intelligence, are partnering to extend the Microsoft Azure AI platform to Oracle Cloud, and that's what's doing it. Okay. As long as it keeps working, it keeps working. AI. By the way, that's where the biggest losses will be. When the music stops. I can promise you, the music has not stopped. In the news, well, a little away from the markets. As you know, we have a binary choice between two people, and as you know, I told you there is no way in hell I am voting for Biden because his debt and deficits and the border. Just two little things, right? But I have to tell... Oh, and Afghanistan. Oh, and his wishy-washy flip-flopping on Israel. But something else is now sticking out for me. It's called the wimp factor. The wimp factor. Imagine being the most influential person in this country, the President of the United States, and outside the White House, you have people carrying banners praising Hamas, murderers of innocents. Imagine one of those people carrying a beheaded Biden bloody head, which is the threatening of death of the President of the United States. Imagine on trains in New York City, there are videos of a group of Hamas-loving thugs standing up, and people, anybody Jewish in here, anybody Zionist in here, speak out. You are not wanted. Imagine all these colleges where people are threatening the death of Jewish students. People siding with animals that murdered, gang raped, blew up, put babies in ovens. The depravity beyond the beyond. And at the White House, right outside, is somebody threatening your life. And that is a threat. The man holding a beheaded Biden's head, bloodied, and calling for his death, and doing nothing about it. Backing terrorism and terrorists is not free speech. It's hate speech. Threatening people's lives is a felony. Holding somebody captive from moving around is a crime. But not a freaking word about it from this president. And I'm wondering if he's just counting how many Jewish votes there are that keeps him silent. And I would say this if it was happening to any race, creed, color, religion. This president is a wimp. And I would say it to his face as he's letting some of the most disgusting occurrences happen around this country. Disgusting. Vile. Sickening. Nothing. Bupkis. And I'm thinking to myself, if I was on that train and being threatened, I would want to stand up and say, not only am I a Jew, but I'm a big Jew, and I'm not moving anywhere. But I'd then maybe kick my ass and leave me paralyzed. And that's what probably would happen. And the president says nothing. Not a word about it. But he sure was yelling and screaming when he thought it was happening to a different group of people. I understand politics, ladies and gentlemen, but I also understand right and wrong. And when you're the President of the United States, there's a point in time you either do or you wimp. We've got a wimp. And it sickens me. Don't even get me started with the media. That'll be for another day. So, massive debt and deficits, Afghanistan, wishy-washy, the border, and now the gargantuan wimp factor that I would have to worry as a Jew to go on a train. I couldn't walk around the White House last night as a Jew with a Jewish star around my neck the police would warn me that I'd get my ass kicked by a bunch of terror-loving scum. And he says nothing. The case is closed. I take no joy. Hey, you all have a great evening. Drive carefully. And when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Alcohol's overrated. Marijuana sucks. Don't believe making it legal. It's all about the money. Peace out all. Stay well. Have a good night. Serenity now. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.